21-year-old Alexis Crawford was a social and criminal justice senior at Clark Atlanta University. Raised in Athens, Georgia, Alexis grew up with 5 brothers and 4 sisters, all of whom were incredibly close. After moving an hour and a half away for school, Alexis maintained daily contact with her loved ones, who described her as beautiful, bright, and brilliant. Aside from being an advocate for criminal justice, Alexis was also an artist. When she wasn't busy with schoolwork or studying for exams, she spent much of her free time sketching. One minute she was laughing on FaceTime with her mother. The next, she was simply gone. 9 agonizing days after Alexis first went missing, her body was found in a park in DeKalb County. She had been dumped in the cold during the early morning hours of Halloween. Alexis's family was shocked to discover that one of those responsible for her cruel and unnerving death was someone who had spent many holidays in their home, her closest and most trusted friend. In her freshman year of university, Alexis met fellow CAU student Jordan Jones. Jordan grew up in the small town of Auburn Hills, Michigan, where her father was a church deacon and a law enforcement officer. Alexis and Jordan had bonded immediately. They became best friends and later moved into an apartment together at Heritage Station, an apartment complex located only 5 minutes away from campus. Alexis even invited Jordan to meet her family back home in Athens, where she was welcomed in with open arms and treated like one of their own. After that day, Jordan spent every holiday with the Crawfords, who referred to the duo as 2 peas in a pod. On October the 26th, 2019, Alexis, Jordan, and Jordan's boyfriend, the then 21-year-old Baron Brantley, an aspiring rapper, decided to go out for a few drinks together. When they returned home, all 3 were heavily intoxicated. At some point, Jordan became sick and went to lie down on her bed. When Jordan awoke an hour later, she tried to enter the bathroom, but it was locked. She knocked on the door, and out came Baron, shirtless. Alexis was lying on the bathroom floor unconscious, wearing only a bra. The first thing that Baron said to Jordan was, "I didn't touch her. I didn't rape her." An argument ensued between Jordan and Baron, and only ended when Baron grabbed the keys to her Chevy Cruze and took off. Jordan called 911, reporting her car stolen, adding casually, "I think something happened to my friend." The next call that Jordan made was to her older sister's friend Brittany, asking her to come over. When Brittany arrived, she found Alexis sitting on the floor and sobbing uncontrollably. Alexis told Brittany that she had been sexually assaulted. Brittany immediately called 911, and Alexis was transported to Grady Hospital. Whilst at the hospital, Alexis filed a sexual assault claim against Baron, alleging that he may have raped her while she was unconscious. Alexis told Atlanta police that she recalled Baron touching and kissing her at some point, but then she blacked out. When she came to, she found herself lying on the bathroom floor, nearly naked. Alexis underwent a rape kit, and the results confirmed her fears. Baron's semen was found inside her body. For reasons unknown, Baron was not immediately arrested for the sexual assault. Atlanta police later stated Alexis had only reported unwarranted touching and kissing, but not rape. The police department's failure to detain Baron proved to be fatal, as Alexis went missing just 3 days later. Somehow, Baron had managed to convince Jordan that he was so intoxicated on the night of the 26th that he'd mistaken Alexis for her, and the couple reconciled. After filing sexual assault charges against Baron, Alexis and Jordan were no longer on speaking terms. Jordan had called several of Alexis's relatives and told them that Baron's DNA had not been found in the rape kit, a false statement. From that day onwards, it was clear who had Jordan's undying support, and it was not Alexis. Following the assault, Alexis texted her friends that she felt uncomfortable and afraid of sleeping in her bedroom. She slept on the living room sofa instead. What Alexis didn't know at the time was that the person that she was so afraid of was only a few feet away from her, hiding inside of Jordan's bedroom. Jordan had snuck Baron back into the apartment on October the 27th and allowed him to stay in her room for the next 4 days. Unbeknownst to Alexis, while Jordan was away at work or in class, she was alone in the apartment with her alleged rapist. On Wednesday, October the 30th, Alexis FaceTimed with her mother, Tammy, at 3:23 p.m. Tammy told detectives that Alexis was laughing and appeared in good spirits. At 8:44 p.m, Alexis's sister, Alexandria, texted her asking what her plans were for the weekend. Alexis replied, "Nothing." Alexandria sent a follow-up text, but never received a reply. At 11:30 p.m. that night, Alexis was captured on surveillance footage at a liquor store. She was wearing a pink hoodie and black pants. After this sighting, she was never seen alive again. On October the 31st, Alexis's family tried to get hold of her, but all of their calls and texts went unanswered. The silence was unusual. Alexis usually responded to her family, even if it was just to say that she was busy and couldn't talk. On November the 1st, her family reported her missing. Later that same day, Atlanta police paid a visit to the off-campus apartment that she shared with Jordan. It was here that Jordan told detectives that on the night of October the 30th, Alexis asked her for a ride to the liquor store. Jordan agreed and took Alexis to the store at 11:30 p.m. They returned home an hour later. Jordan claimed that she went straight to bed since she had an early class, and that was when she awoke the next morning and Alexis was gone. Jordan told detectives and Alexis's family that she didn't know where she was or what had happened to her. This would turn out to be just one of the many lies that she would tell throughout the investigation. Detectives could not find Alexis's phone, bank cards or student ID anywhere inside the apartment. Phone records showed that her mobile had been turned off sometime between 2 and 3 a.m. Any sign of Alexis had seemingly vanished. Atlanta police launched a statewide search for the missing student. Flyers were posted all over campus and in the neighbouring towns. Alexis's parents appealed to the public asking for the safe return of their beloved daughter. Jordan even posted a missing persons flyer to her Instagram page and wrote, "I just feel helpless. My heart is really hurting now." Alexis's loved ones would soon learn that Jordan wasn't helpless at all. In fact, she was one of the only 2 people who knew where Alexis was and what had happened to her. Jordan had attempted to play the part of a concerned friend, but detectives quickly uncovered the truth. When forensic detectives searched Alexis and Jordan's apartment, they came across a small drop of blood on the bathroom sink. With the use of luminol, they found traces of blood in at least 5 to 6 different areas inside the apartment. Surveillance cameras from the parking garage of the apartment complex allegedly captured Jordan and Baron getting into Jordan's vehicle at 3 a.m, contradicting her claim that she had gone to bed at 12:30. In the footage, Baron backed the car up to the elevator vestibule. They drove out of the complex 17 minutes later and returned at 4:09 a.m. Detectives also uncovered messages between Jordan and Baron in which she told him to destroy the parking garage surveillance cameras, writing, "Get it done." A friend of Jordan's later reached out to detectives. Jordan had texted her about a plastic bin. She said her parents had lent her a plastic bin as she was planning to move back home to Michigan. Jordan said she no longer had the bin and asked her friend to pretend she had borrowed it from her in case her parents questioned its whereabouts. Detectives would soon learn the vast significance of the missing plastic bin. On November the 8th, detectives confronted Jordan with the evidence, and she allegedly confessed to the murder of her best friend. With her father beside her, she led detectives to her body. Alexis's body was then recovered from Exchange Park in DeKalb County. She was wrapped in a blue blanket. Her hands had been bound with the pink hoodie she was last seen wearing, and a blue t-shirt was wrapped around her neck. Alexis's head was covered with a plastic garbage bag, and the plastic bin was lying next to her body. According to Jordan's statement, after returning home from the liquor store on October the 30th, she admitted to Alexis that Barron had been living in her room for the past 4 days. Alexis and Jordan began fighting, and at some point, Barron ran out of Jordan's room and began to choke Alexis. Following Jordan's confession, she and Barron were arrested. Barron allegedly admitted to detectives that he strangled Alexis, but claimed that Jordan had assisted in the murder by smothering her former best friend with a plastic garbage bag at the same time. Alexis fought for her life. She'd managed to rip a hole in the plastic bag, but Barron continued to choke her until she stopped breathing. Barron told detectives that he knew Alexis was dying because she sounded like she was in agony. The couple put Alexis's body inside the plastic bin, loaded the bin into Jordan's vehicle, and drove to Exchange Park, where they pushed the bin over a hill. The impact of the fall led Alexis's body to fall out of the bin. The couple then returned home shortly after 4 AM, unsuccessfully cleaned up the crime scene and went to bed. The next day, they attended a Halloween party together, as if nothing had happened. According to Fulton County court records, Jordan Angel Marie Jones and Barron Renwick Brantley were indicted by a grand jury for charges of murder, felony murder, aggravated assault, false imprisonment, and concealing the death of another. Barron faced an additional charge of aggravated sodomy. Jordan and Barron are currently being held in Fulton County Jail. Trial dates have not yet been set, and the Fulton County District Attorney's Office will not be seeking the death penalty. Atlanta police say they don't yet have a motive for her murder, but to most of us, the answer is quite clear. Alexis was murdered because she reported a sexual assault. Only 1 out of every 4 sexual assaults are reported in the United States. What happened to Alexis is one of the top 3 reasons why victims of sexual assault do not report the crime: fear of retaliation. Alexis's dream was to become a lawyer and devote her life to finding justice for others. Now, her family is fighting to get justice for her.